So I feel like the concept of like Disneyfying a picture of yourself has been around for quite a while. Like before AI became this buzzword that we're using today. I'm not here to try and defend AI, very obviously, but I mean, there's always a tweet, isn't there? I mean, I'm pretty sure, probably back in like 2018, maybe 2019, back when I used Twitter, I did one of these like turning myself into a Disney Pixar character with AI. Back then, I didn't even really know it was AI. I probably kind of did know it was some sort of artificial intelligent computer. We weren't calling it AI, and there wasn't all the negativity and stuff around AI like there is today. I actually am really curious if I can find this tweet. My tweet is from January 2021. That's even worse than I thought. But it was still before all this AI discourse began. And to be honest, most of the replies at the time were very much just people sending their own AI-generated images of themselves using the exact same application I used. We weren't calling it AI or anything. And, that tweet got 75 replies. I can't see one that was mad at me for using AI at the time, I guess because we didn't realize. Now, looking back on this, I don't know who's running toonme.com, but I assume it's mostly thriving off stolen artwork. And I'm glad my stance was that it looks terrible. That's the main thing. Like, AI can't create cool stuff. It can steal cool stuff and make it look worse. So what's the point? And I say all this with the context that the use of generative AI like this doesn't really make me angry most of the time as much as it makes me just feel sad. I've done a whole video talking about people making AI fan edits, and that makes me feel sad because, you could just be making fan edits. You are in the prime of your fandom life and you are just sending prompts to an AI generator to make something for you when you could be being artistic and creative and making cool things. And there's definitely a camp of people, especially kids, I find, that are using AI to create stuff that they should just be creating themselves, and it's a shame that AI is taking away this opportunity for them to create stuff, at least in their heads. They don't feel like they can create it because AI can do it more quickly or whatever. But the time you spend making cool stuff is the time that counts. But I also do understand and realize that a large faction of people using these turn yourself into Disney character AI generator things are just like normal people that are just like turning themselves into an AI character because they're interested to see what it looks like. I said that with the fact the response to my own tweet 5 years ago was just people posting their own examples of them as Disney characters. You see what someone else looks like, you're curious what you look like. And I feel like most of this stuff is just going to be shared to group chats or saved to camera rolls and going to be like, oh my god, look what you would look like as a Disney character. Look what my pet would look like as a Disney character. Look what our family looks like as a Disney character. Like, I do understand the environmental aspect of it, but I don't think your average mum who was never going to pay for an artist to make these things in the first place and was just having fun on a Friday night after working a job and having to look after her kids deserves to be vilified for doing something like this. I'm sorry if that isn't completely politically correct and woke, but just to be clear, I do believe that any AI generator that is actually stealing artwork and not paying for the art that they use to generate AI art should be taken down. Like, I don't know how it's legal to steal artwork and then generate AI artwork from that AI. And I also think any AI generator that is basing art off AI generated art that was stolen before, that they are now basing it off the stolen artwork. That didn't make any sense, I don't think, but I also think that's bad. Anyway, I bring this all up because the big shift that's happened in recent years is the improvement specifically with video generative AI. And this all comes into play when you consider that there's this Sora AI where you can take images like this of a family that are just like Disneyified and turn it into an entire video or trailer or movie of the family as a Disney family. And you could literally make a movie by typing in a prompt into a generator. It's not going to look very good and it's not going to be very good, but you can technically do that if you so choose to do so. And this has led to some interesting things happening specifically on TikTok, where people have seen the opportunity to make these things. Basically, people have been using this Sora AI platform to generate like fake Disney and Pixar trailers, and I just want to watch a few of them and react to a few of them so you can just get the idea of what I'm talking about. I'm assuming some people watching this have already seen them, but I just want to show you what I'm talking about.
Only ever wanted to paint. You're a joke! They laughed.
It's a story about a painter. Disney could believably make a movie about a painter, a struggling painter who wants to become a success. That's a Disney movie, right? I do think, though, the context of this isn't going to be lost on too many people who this painter actually is and who he becomes.
Paint the world my way.
Of course, Disney wouldn't make a movie about Adolf Hitler for obvious reasons.
Flowers, pizza,
So they just have like a movie here which is just based off a porn film.
From Disney and Pixar.
So just like straight out the gate, it's getting quite offensive now, you know? Finding water, just making light of children in poverty. It's like, who's come up with this? Who's had the idea that it's like, yeah, we could make like a Finding Water, a play on Finding Nemo.
I was made to just sit in a drawer, waiting for what? To be jammed somewhere cramped?
Oh my god. I didn't even get that. I saw like it said A Plug's Life, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be like about... No. Oh. And what follows A Plug's Life, I wonder?
We make a pretty good team up here.
Towers. Okay. 2 planes.
Place for me.
There's a place for everyone in this world.
So it could be a normal movie. There's gonna be a twist. Oh wow. Just outright sexism. Outright sexism. The pass. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay. So just racism. We are just perpetrating stereotypes. So we got one about Kim Jong-un.
I liked bigger one.
It's almost funnier to me when I feel like they just miss the mark. Like, I feel like these are trying to be as offensive as possible. And when you make one that's just like, yep, Kim Jong-un blasting a rocket, I'm like, where was the bit where I was meant to laugh?
Disney and Pixar.
Like yellow?
Yeah, it's like sunshine in a...
It's just like, my problem with one like this is just like, you know who isn't at the butt of enough jokes? People with learning difficulties. Why don't we just like make fun of them even more? This is gonna be seen by real people who might see themselves in these characters, as if someone who's got learning difficulties needs to be at the butt of someone else's joke that's being probably made by just someone who doesn't, and is just like trying to find a way to just make fun of someone who just doesn't deserve to be made fun of. Like, someone like that would never make a video making fun of the person who made this, or sent the prompt to make this. That one kind of sits worse with me than some of the more obviously like offensive ones around like actual like horrible historical and present figures and events.
My first day on the job.
Officer Down. Oh my god.
He's got more heart than half the force. Sometimes that's all a city needs.
Oh my god. I get that a lot of people are gonna just see this and go, yeah, this is just comedy. It's obviously satirical. Disney would never make movies about any of these topics for obvious reasons, and therefore this is like making fun of the idea of like, Disney are so PG. What if, imagine the crazy reaction if they just like dropped a trailer about this and it was the most offensive movie ever and everyone would just, what would it be like? I don't think they're being put out to try and trick people into thinking that they are real. I don't know. Maybe they are like genuinely being put out to try and like trick some old people that like, wow, Disney are making a movie about this now? We've got to unsubscribe. I don't imagine that is the target though. And I'm not going to try and like be a joke police and say like what you can and can't make a joke about. But it did very quickly become very offensive towards like groups of people that just like are not in on the joke. And that's the part that like felt weird to me. There's also just a lot of punching down with this. You're targeting people like, for example, the kids with special needs and learning difficulties. Given how like social media and people like make jokes on social media and how that then translates to real life, is there going to be like a world now where people make fun of a real life kid with Down syndrome at school or something by like making Officer Down jokes? And again, it just kind of makes me feel sad. That's my thing with AI. I genuinely do believe there is creativity behind the people who have made this. Like, you have made something that hundreds of thousands of millions of people have engaged with and genuinely enjoyed, because there is a funny element to doing that juxtaposition of like something that Disney would never make positioned as something that Disney made. But I just wish we weren't using AI to do it. Like, this joke about like fake Disney and Pixar trailers has existed for way longer than I'm assuming most people realize, especially way longer that this subsection of very offensive Disney and Pixar TikToks has existed. I remember talking about the fake Toy Story 4 posters were made in 2018, where it was like made to look like it was an Avengers Infinity War Endgame kind of movie, and it was like an image of Buzz's wing being snapped off and floating through space, or Woody's hat being like left alone in the desert, like kind of implying like this is gonna be the end of them, they're gonna die in this one. I remember like there was like like a fake Boo poster that was made, like hinting they're gonna make a Boo movie as a sequel to Monsters Inc. These are fake posters that someone actually like put their time into making. And like the people who've got the creativity behind like the ideas of like, let's make a Disney Pixar movie about this super offensive event, could just be like putting their time into like making a fake thing, but just like I think there's like a comedy element to that. Like, I do see the humorous side to doing so. On top of that, I've seen so many trailers like re-edited to make like a Pixar movie seem like a horror movie. Like, for example, the Toy Story movies are basically the plot of a horror film if you just reword it slightly. The toys are literally coming to life when you are not looking, and they have a life of their own behind your back. That is the plot to many horror films. You take the clips from the Toy Story movies and put it to scary music, and you can make a horror film trailer out of that. And it's kind of off topic, but I remember a few years ago I saw this like beautiful video of an animator who wanted to propose to his partner, and he drew and animated this like entire scene from a movie where this guy who looked just like him and this girl who looked just like his partner got together, and then the character from the movie like knelt down to propose to his partner and like throws the ring out of the movie screen, which he then catches in real life and proposes to her in real life. It's so beautiful. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever seen on the internet. And recently another version of this has gone viral where the guy literally just used AI to generate a movie of him proposing to his wife. And I'm not going to try and tell people how to live their lives. It's their moment, and what people want to do in their free time and spend their money on is their own business, to be honest. But it's just such a shame that people have these creative ideas and the corners now very easily get cut doing AI. Like, I'm not saying the guy needs to know how to 3D animate to propose to his partner, or the person who's making these fake trailers needs to know how to 3D animate to make the fake trailers. But I'm saying, like, I think people should be using their creativity to do creative things rather than cutting these corners. And I think like there is a really cool thing here, genuinely. I think it could be really cool, and there's a really cool side to it, and obviously there's weird and kind of nasty elements to it, but I'm trying to see the positive side of it, and it's just a shame that it's being done like this. That's all I've got. It makes me feel sad, and unfortunately this Blue Seamus is a sad one. It's not a happy one. I'm sorry, not every Blue Seamus video is all going to be happy, clappy. Toy Story 5 trailer came out. This is a sad one, I'm afraid. So yeah, but yeah, if you enjoyed this video nonetheless, you can subscribe to Blue Seamus. I'm uploading every week on here. You can like and hype this video. And yeah, hopefully next week I've got something more positive to talk about than complaining about AI again. Because this is draining my soul.